welcome back to my channel. It feels so strange to be saying that. I feel like I haven't filmed in forever, and it's a little bit embarrassing to actually sit here and do the intro to this video, seeing as I was supposed to have filmed it over a month ago. I took a little bit of a break from social media, and then when I was about to start filming again, I got sick, which is why I sound like this. I know it's disgusting, but I just didn't want to put off filming for any longer. I don't want to waffle too much and make a super long intro, but I did just want to quickly mention I've made a new Instagram. If you enjoy my content on YouTube, then I'd really appreciate it if you could follow my new Instagram and help me grow the new account. Now, if you're wondering why I have absolutely no makeup on and my hair is wet, I just hate the idea of sitting there filming a Q&A. I feel like it can be so boring. So I am going to get ready, not that I have anywhere to go at all, while I answer the questions, just to make it a little bit more interesting and hopefully distract you from how disgusting my voice is right now. I've already moisturised and primed my face, and I'm going to use the same foundation that I've used for literally forever. I don't think I've changed my foundation for like 2 years. It's the Fenty moisturising foundation, and I've got really dry skin, so it's really good, and it's in the shade 235. So I've tried to kind of put the questions into categories, and the first category is pregnancy. So first question is, what are some of the things that you went through in pregnancy that you didn't know about before pregnancy? And I think the biggest one for me is SPD. So I'm going to read the definition of it. Symphysis pubis dysfunction. It's a collection of uncomfortable symptoms caused by a stiffness of your pelvis joint or the joints moving unevenly. I had to do physiotherapy. It was so uncomfortable and so painful. How did you find out that you were pregnant? I was doing someone's hair at work, and she was convinced that I was pregnant because I was complaining about period pain. So I basically just done a pregnancy test to prove her wrong, obviously backfired and proved myself wrong, and yeah, that's how I found out. I'm gonna go in with, again, Fenty Beauty's I don't know why I'm talking like an MUA. I have no idea what I'm doing. Oh my god. I was going through my old videos the other day, and I actually can't believe that I tried to do a makeup tutorial. I find that so hilarious. I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to makeup. No matter what I do, my makeup always comes out exactly the same. But I'm using Fenty Beauty's concealer in shade 190. What was the most difficult part of pregnancy? I'd say depression, and then I had reoccurring UTIs, which was not ideal when there's a baby squishing your bladder. If you could change 3 things about your pregnancy, what would they be? I don't know if this is about like pregnancy per se, but the amount of emotional support I received when I was pregnant, that was a massive thing, that if I could go back and change something, it would 100% be that. The amount that I ate, because that was super unhealthy, I definitely should have been eating a lot more. Like, I was eating for a quarter of a person and I should have been eating for 2. And then the amount that I attended the hospital. What's a piece of advice you would have given yourself when you were pregnant? Honestly, to embrace the positive side of the situation as much as I worried about the negative side. Like, I was so stressed out about everything. I let everything impact me so much negatively, and not for a second did I stop and think about, you know, the fact that I was bringing life into the world and that I was becoming a mother. I just never ever thought of any of it as a good thing. I'm gonna use Huda Beauty's Tantor in medium. Has your body changed much since pregnancy? I feel like people always look at me and think that I'm so small. Like, people are always like, oh my god, I can't believe you had a baby. I never ever want to talk about the insecurities I have about my body since having Noah because of that. I feel like people are going to be like, what are you complaining about? My chest grew so much when I was pregnant, and some people might think that's a great thing. I hate it. I want to get a breast reduction so badly. My stomach, I always had like a fairly flat stomach, and I don't anymore. I have like really stubborn belly fat now. Other than that, not really. In terms of stretch marks and weight gain and stuff, not so much, but those 2 things definitely are now massive insecurities of mine. The next group of questions are about my relationship. Has your relationship with your partner strengthened since having Noah? It definitely has, but I feel like you would kind of expect that because we have been together for so long. The one thing I will say is having a baby makes or breaks your relationship. People always say like moving in with someone is what makes you realise if you can be with them, but try having a whole human with them. And then, how did you tell your partner you were pregnant? Called him, he didn't answer. I sent him a picture of a pregnancy test, and then he called me back within 1 millisecond, and I just said to him, I've done a pregnancy test and I'm pregnant. There was no like spectacular display of anything. It was literally just a phone call. Next group of questions are about my family. Are your family supportive? Have they always been supportive? My immediate family, 100,000,000,000%. Could not ask for more from them. There's obviously people in my distant family that were not supportive at all. Do your parents tell you how to parent? Once I make it clear that I want to do something, what is wrong with me? Once I make it clear that I want to do something a certain way, then no. They definitely have strong opinions, but no, they don't try and control what I do. Now we're going to talk about labor. Did you take any painkillers during labor? No. The lady made me take gas and air, and it made me feel so sick. I couldn't do it because I hadn't eaten anything, so it was just making me lightheaded. I did ask for an epidural, which I was so against before I was actually in labor, but it got to a point where I was like, listen to me now, before I actually kill everyone in this room, inject me in my back. And then the woman like was trying to convince me that I could do it without an epidural. I'm not asking for your opinion. I am genuinely not asking what you think. I don't care, just get an epidural. And then she went upstairs to get it. I'm not a horrible person, but I was in so much pain, and I just thought, do you actually think we have time to sit here and discuss, you know, what you think about my uterus and the fact that I'm about to push a baby out of my hoo-ha? Yeah. And then she went upstairs to get it, but by the time she came back downstairs, I'd already had Noah. Sum up labor in 3 words. This is gonna sound crazy, easier than expected. I feel like I always do this myself, whether it's a piercing or labor. I prepare myself for the worst. When I say the worst, I was comparing it to death. And then when I was in labor, I was like, it's not that bad. Like obviously it's painful. I was just expecting it to be so much worse. How old were you when you gave birth? It was 2 weeks after my 19th birthday. What was the hardest part of labor? Easily the stitching afterwards. I tore and had an episiotomy, so I like tore one way and then got cut the other, and they have to stitch it afterwards, and that was the most painful thing. Unbearably painful. And then the next group of questions is just about motherhood in general. What were the terrible twos like for you? I feel like Noah didn't really have terrible twos. She got to an age where she was testing boundaries, seeing what she could get away with, but in terms of tantruming, screaming, she didn't really do any of it. That doesn't mean it's not going to come at some point. If you could change anything about being a mum, what would it be? If it was like possible, the anxiety that comes around like your child's safety is so unbearable. Hardest thing about being a mum easily for me, and if I could get rid of that so it wasn't a worry of mine, then 100% that. But if we're going to be a little bit more realistic, then the expectations that come with being a mum, especially a young mum, your right to be who you want to be is completely stripped. You're a mum, you can't do that. You're a mum, you can't dress like that, you can't talk like that, you can't go here, you can't. And I just think like, who cares? I'm a mum, still a person, I'm still only 22. What age did you send Noah to nursery? I actually haven't yet. She starts nursery in 2 weeks, which I'm so nervous about. I have avoided her going to nursery for so long, it's ridiculous. Like, she's been asking me for like 6 months, like, when can I go to nursery? When do I start school? And I'm like, when you're 5. Honey, you have to be like so much older to go to school. But she just got to a point where she really wants to, and obviously like it's good for their development, their social skills. I worry so much about her being in a nursery's care. I don't know why, but I searched for a nursery that I felt comfortable with, and she starts in 2 weeks. Okay, so I completely ran out of setting powder, and then I went to buy some, and the only one they had was number 7, and then when I opened it, it's not loose powder, it's pressed powder. Okay, so this is in the shade translucent. I'm not really getting translucent vibes from it. I'm getting quite light vibes from it, but we can make it work. Anyway, next question. Do you work? I do. I went back to work quite early. I went back to work when Noah was around 7 months old, and that was to do hairdressing. And then I left that job fairly soon after returning. If you don't know the reason why, then you can watch my unfair dismissal video, and it will explain like everything about that horrible place. And then after that, I done barista work, so like making coffee and stuff on a boat. And then I left that job to do my current job, which is admin work. And I'm going to use the Great Brow Basics Benefit, not palette, set. The whole reason I went to buy like a new Benefit brow product is because I saw on another girl called Winnie's YouTube channel that she was using this like tinted brow gel, so I really wanted to try it. I'm just so happy that I come across it on her channel. It's just a brow gel, but it's really good for if you're not wearing like heavy makeup but you want your brows to be done. Best thing ever, honestly. I'm going to use the original Hoola by Benefit to bronze my face. How do you manage your time? Do you get a lot of you time? When Noah was younger, my mum used to have her once a week overnight. Then I definitely had a lot of time to myself, whereas now whenever someone has Noah, it's because I'm at work, but because Noah's bigger, it doesn't really bother me. I don't feel like I need more time for myself. I feel like I manage my time okay. I manage my time in accordance to my child, because that's what I gotta do. I'm gonna put these lashes on off camera, so I'll be back in a second. So I literally just bought this when I went to buy the powder. Maybelline Cheek Heat. I never use blushes, but people always say it brings all of your makeup together, so I'm gonna try. It's in the shade Fuchsia Spark, and I literally have no idea how to do this. Okay, surely this is just gonna rub the rest of my makeup off. Oh my god, is that even normal? I feel like this is not supposed to look like this. For God's sake. The next question is, how did you cope with having Noah at a young age? I feel like the reason age is even brought into how you cope with parenting is because of other people's judgment, because other people expect you to do badly or want you to do badly for some weird reason. I feel like that definitely impacted me a lot, like things like taking Noah to baby groups or like trying to meet other mums. I didn't want to do any of it because I just always felt judged. I guess it's just hard feeling like you constantly have to prove yourself. No mother should feel like that, whether you're 15 or 40. You shouldn't feel like you're trying to prove that you're a good mother to other people. But I'm going to blow dry my hair quickly off camera and then I will answer the last couple of questions. Okay, so the next question is, do you find it difficult to maintain your identity outside of motherhood? I used to think I have to be a certain way because I've now had a child, and I used to think, you know, I can't wear the clothes that I want to wear. I literally went through phases where I was like, I shouldn't wear a crop top anymore. My mentality now is so far from that. What's something you're proud of about being a young mum? And there are tons of things that I'm proud of about being a mum, but being a young mum, I feel like it's like this personal psychological issue I have with being addressed as a young mum or being looked at as a young mum, and I always kind of see it as a negative thing. So then like I get my back up, what's the difference between being a young woman and being a mum? Like they're the same thing. I guess I'd say like being able to break that stigma of how people look at young mums. You know, you need help, you don't know what you're doing, because let's be honest, no one knows what they're doing. Like you could be 56 and have a child. You know no better than a 17-year-old or a 15-year-old that's had their first child, because you only experience being a first-time mum once. And the next one is do's and don'ts for mothers. And for me, my biggest do, like the one thing I'm so happy that I done with Noah when she was quite young, is self-settle. And I know some people are like super against it or like scared to do it, and it's just something that for me worked amazingly. Like Noah now goes to sleep every night at 8 o'clock, wakes up at 7:30 to 8 every morning. It just makes it so much easier because I know for 100% I have that time to myself in the evening. And then don'ts, I'm no one to tell anyone what not to do with their child, aside from like actually parenting. The one thing I would say that I done wrong was letting my pride stop me from asking for help. I was so uncomfortable asking people for their opinion or their help or what they would do, and that put so much stress on myself. So 100%, everybody needs a break, everybody needs advice. Don't let your pride stop you from asking for help. I'm going to try and take pictures because I feel like now that I've done a full face, I need to do something rather than just sit here. I really do hope that this video has been somewhat insightful into my life as a mother, and just, you know, generally like quite interesting to watch. If you enjoy videos like this, then let me know. I'm happy to film like more Q&As, more get ready with me's, and yeah, I'm really excited to just get back into filming more regularly and staying on top of making content. I'm really appreciative of every single subscriber. It means more than the world to me. If you watch my videos and you are not subscribed or you don't have a channel, please make a channel and subscribe. It genuinely means so much. Like I know I say this every video and it sounds like I'm reading off a script, but it means more than you know. Like I am so proud of myself so far and how like far this channel has come. To me, it means the world. So please, if you can find the time, then make a channel, subscribe, like, comment, like any engagement is appreciated. And yeah, for now, bye.